Right, I am live. We are back to talk about the science of peptides and aging better. And I have a friend going to join me who's a peptide expert and talking about how peptides can help women, especially in postmenopause. And I'm going to ask her to join now. Let's see. I think I added her as a moderator, but oh, there we go. View request. Go live. Now it wants me to turn on my Bluetooth settings, which last time it told me to turn them off. Oh, there you are.
We got it to work.
It worked. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I can't tell
Yes,
you. I'm not sweating bullets like I was last time.
right.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's get started because this is a very hot topic right now, and we wanted to share this. And first, I just want to say this is an important topic for women over 50, and we want to talk about how peptides can help women over 50. And that's why I brought on the expert, Suzanne Laughlin, who knows everything about peptides, and she's going to give us a lot of great information. I've got tons of questions I've got written down here that I want to ask her, and this is really helpful for anybody who's suffering with low energy, with belly fat, with sleep issues, with muscle issues, with just the things we deal with in menopause and postmenopause. So I would like Suzanne to introduce herself a little bit, just tell a little bit about yourself, Suzanne, how you got started in this, and just share your story and how peptides came into your life.
Oh, I'll give you the short version.
Okay.
So, as many women, as we're going through the aging process, I went through a lot of um, mental, physical, transitional situation from hormone shifts, but also, little did I know, peptide shift. We often will have that. Little story, especially where peptides come into play. I suffered for 29 years with reoccurring UTIs, and
Wow.
the medical field, the answer was antibiotics over and over, at least twice a year for 29 years. I
Wow.
don't have to tell anyone, even someone who doesn't understand science, your microbiome is destroyed. And that was definitely something I was dealing with. It wasn't until I um, kind of did my own medical research, and which led me into the field that I'm now in as a health coach. Um, I found a women's group that I joined, and through that, I became an admin, leading me into aiding women through all that we've been going through. And from there, I found Joy Women's Wellness, found peptide therapy. My medical research grew because I love it, and realized, oh my goodness, I've lost some of these peptides, not just by aging necessarily. Yes, that's true, but also through medical intervention that I
Mm,
experienced. And it wasn't until I had found certain peptides that was a game changer so much
wow.
in life. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's dive into the questions. So, for women hearing about peptides for the first time, what are peptides and how do they work in our bodies?
So, simple answer, or just to kind of give you, they are short chain amino acids.
Mhm.
I like people to think of them as messaging signals. So they're sending messages throughout your body to repair, recover, to regulate in your processing. So they can be upstream of even hormone being created. So they're not direct like hormone replacement, but in
Mhm.
that upstream, they can fuel stimulating hormone growth.
Oh, okay. And what symptoms or struggles do peptides help most for postmenopausal women?
Oh, wow. So
That's
many
loaded.
of the women that are postmenopausal and what they're dealing with are sleep issues, sleep
Mhm.
disruption, muscle. So women, I hear all the time, I used to be a gym rat. I still go to the gym. I'm still
Mhm.
doing all the things. And I'm not seeing this in turn in my, outward. So they're lacking the gains. They're having muscle recovery issues.
Mhm.
There can also be with our skin. So there's
Mm.
a lot of different, also the gut health aspect, because we have that diminishing, not just through peptides, there's hormones also, but peptides can be a direct relation to even gut health. So there's a number of things that we're seeing postmenopausal women seeking to have those added benefits, and peptide therapy can at times be very helpful.
Yep, that's good. Yeah. And what are the realistic expectations that peptides can do and cannot do?
Ooh, okay. So a little bit of a list. What they can do, and I'll kind of get into the can a little later,
Hmm.
but supporting our recovery. So, like I was
Mm,
saying, when we're going to the gym, someone who's been active, but they're just not recovering the same. So, we're seeing that support and recovery, the sleep quality. So, maybe even getting the sleep, but it's not the quality of sleep. Um, Enhancing the training that we're putting in. So, we're getting the gains in the gym again.
hmm.
Um, the way our body composition, that also can be supported greatly
Love
with our
that.
skin, and then just supportive of overall health.
Yeah, good. Is there anybody, first let me ask this. How safe are peptides for postmenopausal women?
Um, I will first start with the broad, about safety. We
Okay.
want to make sure that you're getting them from quality companies. Whenever you
Hmm.
first see research company, that should be a little bit of a red flag. Do a little bit more of a research in digging. Whenever they're selling it and saying, here's a dosage in the way of administering, but then you also receive it and it says not for human use. Those
Mm,
are things we want to take as big red flags. Um, with the menopausal woman, we want to make sure that we're watching first our overall health. So making sure that there is a medical workup,
hmm.
she's seeing a qualified provider, making sure that there's not any underlying issues.
Yep.
Someone that, and this is broader than just menopause, if someone has an active or recently diagnosed cancer treatment, a severe
Mm,
metabolic issue, those are things that would need more in-depth medical guidance.
yeah, some good answer. But my next question was, who should not use peptides? Is there anybody
Yeah,
that shouldn't?
yeah, that those would be the ones that would need to really have that close medical oversight and intervention.
Hmm.
It doesn't necessarily always rule out in all peptides because there are so many peptides, but it is something that needs to be more closely monitored and
Hmm.
assessed before making that decision.
What do you think are the biggest myths that you hear about peptides?
Oh man, myths. One is they're just a cure-all. They're going to
Mm.
work like magic. They're going to melt fat, guaranteed. Um,
What?
yeah,
Well, the
they're,
GLP-1s are,
and it's still with it's individualized.
yes.
There are certain people that
Hmm.
for various reasons it might not be as supportive as what others are seeing.
Hmm.
But there's also
Okay.
remembering that peptides are a support measure. They are the amplifiers, if you
Hmm.
will. So we have to have some of those bases or starting foundations in place
Hmm.
before expecting peptides to come in and
Sure.
get to work in checking those boxes.
And that goes along with gut health too. The state of your gut determines a lot
Oh,
how
yeah.
medications work, how things work. Yeah. So that's a
Mhm.
good point. You kind of answered this. My next question is what should a woman look for in a provider if she's interested in peptides? But you kind of answered that a little bit, but can you expound on that a little bit?
Um, I I really feel that someone who either is very specialized in the endocrine system in
Hmm.
hormone optimization, one
Okay.
that is going to look at you as an individual and not just blindly say everyone can benefit from this. Those would be things that I would strongly encourage anyone considering a peptide to look for.
Okay.
Hormone and peptides, those are often something that are going to be together, and getting that full scope of picture of
Hmm.
your individual makeup is going to be really important.
So one of my friends, Lori, asked, why is there such a fervor about peptides right now?
Well, social media, we're hearing about them more. I mean, there's good and bad. So we're
Hmm.
hearing more, which should raise our interest. And curiosity
Hmm.
is wonderful. I think we should have a curiosity, but caution, that's that's valid too. We need to have that caution. We need to do our research. We need to know what
Right.
is out there.
And they can't hurt you, right? They're, or
That is a
can they?
myth. That is a myth.
Mm,
So
okay.
again, the individualized, just
Yep.
that's what a lot of people think is just because they're natural, they're
Hmm.
just not going to hurt you. Again, that has to be looked at as the individual and per
Yep.
your makeup medically,
Hmm.
your what you're putting in. You know, a medical provider who really is caring is going to find out how is, you know, some of these foundational things. Are you getting in the good nutrition? Are you getting in good movement? Are you, you know, already checking a lot of those
Hmm.
boxes? Because again, that peptide is going to be an amplifier for
Right.
all these other things.
So another question is, how do you know if you need peptides? This is from one of our viewers.
Okay, so my personal professional view on it is starting with labs. I really think that
Mm,
don't guess, get your test.
right.
So starting with labs with a knowledgeable provider, speaking about, you know, if you go in and you have an interest in a specific peptide, but also listening to what the medical provider really feels that might be of benefit to you, especially
Hmm.
after taking that assessment in. Those are things I think that the foundation, though, of labs to make sure too that there's not maybe something underlying issue before
Yeah.
acting on something like a peptide.
Yep. So I want to talk about one specific peptide called
Mhm.
sermorelin. And I want to talk about that because I've been taking that one.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you, I'm going to tell my story about that, but why is sermorelin such a popular peptide for women in postmenopause?
Oh, well, first we'll say the sleep. Oh my
Mm,
goodness. That's honestly the first thing a lot of individuals notice, and very large ones that I hear feedback from is the
hmm.
postmenopausal woman.
Yep.
So sleep benefits, getting that support. But then for those that are putting in that work in the gym, they're, you know, giving us that feedback that they're seeing those recovery, they're seeing the gains, and then in turn they're seeing it often in their skin and how their vitality is kind of restored. So again, I will never say in a broad sense you're guaranteed everyone's going to see this, but if those foundational things are there, more
Hmm.
often than not we are seeing this outcome, and it is very exciting.
Well, I can tell you after I think almost 90 days, I can tell my sleep started getting better after week two. I
Yeah.
sleep has been my Achilles heel. I've been struggling with sleep, doing all the right things.
Mhm.
And my sleep by week two, and I was like, hallelujah. And now I have an Aura ring to track my sleep, and I'm getting deeper REM sleep. Um, so yeah, this will be replayed. Love my two. I think I said that. This will be saved here on my page, or enjoy women's wellness. So you can come back to this. Thanks for joining us. But that was the first thing I noticed. And then I had hip replacement surgery in November. I had to lay off working out for several weeks, lost my muscle gains that I had. And so then I just started working out hard again in January. And I got my muscles back quicker, I think, than I normally would. And that's my thing. I don't want to be skinny. I want to be strong. I want to be muscular. And that I wanted my muscles back. So I know that's so important. This peptide is called sermorelin, the one we're talking about. And the side benefit I found that really surprised me. I just turned 69 in December, and I noticed my wrinkles weren't as deep and stuff. And I'm like, what? And I stopped taking collagen. I ran out of collagen several months ago, so I'm not taking collagen. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
this has to be it, you know? So anyway, that's a nice side benefit. And I'm like, there was no downsides, from taking it. So anyway, that's my story. So I just wanted to share that because I think for anyone struggling with sleep, struggling with muscle, helping your skin is a side benefit. That's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned it that way. And that was one of my notes that I really wanted people to have a realistic expectation, especially with something like Samorlin. You check the boxes. It's first sleep, then you're going to have that recovery, body composition, And then usually thereafter, you're going to see often the other outside benefits in the skin and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Hello,
it's like
bonus.
that order. It's is exactly the way I would have
Oh,
expected it, honestly.
that's
So
funny. So
wonderful.
Lori asked another question. Generally speaking, would this be a better starting place than testosterone for women?
Oh, I will say this. Personally speaking, I would first start with a hormone that often starts seeing a decline in our 30s.
Mm,
If that is shown in your labs that you need that support, I would start there. Sermorelin could be an added plus benefit paired very nicely where it's warranted.
hmm
I've seen great things with those in a combination. But
hmm
honestly, if your labs are already showing that you have that significant decline, then I would start with the testosterone.
If you can't get testosterone where you live, could you get Sermorelin, you think? I mean, is that
That could
if
be, yeah. And some people choose, let's say that their testosterone might be on the low-ish end,
mhm.
but really not where they're comfortable with getting that replacement. Definitely start with Sermorelin. Sermorelin, as long as, again, your medical clearance, there's no
hmm
underlying issue of concern,
Yep.
Sermorelin can give you that benefit. And some, in a very small, boost, have seen even their testosterone increase slightly.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. So another viewer asks, a regular doctor does not really help with peptides. Who do you go to? So, and you can kind of talk about that. Well, we'll talk about Joy's Women's Wellness.
Mhm. So
Uh,
that's who I go through is the
yep.
company I work for, Joy Women's Wellness and Bloke Modern Men's Health. And they have wonderfully knowledgeable providers.
They
They're
do.
able to assess, and that's what I love is because they check the boxes of I really think that the aging individual, as we're having those declines from hormone decline, peptide decline, often we need even the supplemental decline, that we're seeing, and we
hmm
need those supplemental support. Um, and it's kind of checking all those boxes of based off of not just labs, but based off of your individual medical history. So
hmm
that health history form we do have you fill out that gives us a lot of that information of what you've been dealing with, what's kind of brought you in, what you've been, your side effects or symptoms that you've been experiencing. And then with those labs, I always say it's like a puzzle. We're putting that individual you puzzle together. And then from there, they can give you a directional of a recommendation of a treatment plan where you then get to choose where you want to start.
Okay, I love that. And that's what they did with me. They took a blood test and then we went over it. And it was really interesting. It was like, oh, this is where I need a little help. And it's like, wow, it was very eye-opening. So I know you're very thorough, which is great. So that we'll put I know Suzanne is in here as Joy's Women's Wellness. You can follow them, and we're going to have we'll put a link in the when we post this, like where you can type in more, and you will get more information about it. So it's it's a very legit company. That's why I'm excited about it too. So, and you kind of answered this a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, can peptides help a woman who's doing everything right, doing the strength training, doing the nutrition, but still feeling stuck?
Yes, those are the ones that's where I get really excited. And I know we've kind of shared that in our
hmm
calls because you were checking those boxes, but you're just not maybe seeing the results that you were used to.
hmm
And that's what I mean whenever I say those foundational things being there in place, then adding something like a peptide like Sermorelin, then
hmm
can give you that amplifying effect where then we're
Yep.
hearing those results of, oh my goodness, I'm starting to see all the things come back. I'm seeing all these added benefits. So it just amplifies what you're already doing.
Yep. I love that. If a woman is on the fence, like what would you want her to know if she's on the fence about exploring this more?
Um, I would want her to first know that there's nothing wrong with having that skepticism. That's
Mhm,
healthy. I think that I would want her to know where to go to someone who is knowledgeable. That it should be someone who also is not being using pressure. not that scare tactic that we often we've experienced, or I at least have. And so just where she feels that she's comfortable going in, learning about those labs, her own makeup, and hearing the benefits that she might be able to gain. Those are the things I think that would be really important for any woman who's looking into any type of therapy, peptide therapy, hormone replacement therapy.
So, here, okay, I know this is an easy question for you to answer. What excites you most about peptides for women in midlife? And then we have another question we'll go to.
I with midlife specifically, I love that most of us are at a point where, like you said, we're not looking to be skinny or 25 again. It's not about that. It's
Mhm.
about being the best at the ages that we are,
Yes.
feeling that we are seeing the work that we're putting in come to fruition, that we're getting to enjoy and be vibrant the way that, our efforts
Preach,
were.
preach.
Yeah, they used to do something and then it's like we feel like we're spinning our wheels. No, you should be able to see those gains. You should be able to feel those wonderful, like you said, sleep. It's such a simple thing, but it's such a valuable thing. So those are the things that
Mhm.
gets me excited whenever I do meet women who are doing the things that check the boxes, and I'm like, oh, I think we can amplify this whole situation and make you feel your best.
And I feel like our generation, I'm the end of the boomers, we're called something else now, Generation Jones, but and the Gen X are like, we're not aging quietly and in rocking chairs. We're redefining aging than our parents aged. And I want to answer this question. B. Wilkinson said, I follow under all of what you were mentioning. I went through menopause when I was in my 50s, and I'm now 74 and have not had any hormone therapy. I need help for sure. So what can you say to her to give her some advice?
Start with labs,
Mm.
get your labs done, have your medical history again reviewed, because a lot of misinformation about, like, oh, you've gone without hormones for so long, you are absolutely not in a category to get hormones. That is not true. It is
Hmm.
very nuanced, it is very individualized, but a knowledgeable medical hormone specialist provider like we do have at Joy, if that's something she is interested in, one of our providers would be happy to see her, review her labs with her, and discuss where would be best to start.
Is it ever too late to start?
Um,
If you're 90, maybe? I don't know.
if you're healthy and you don't have these, maybe certain underlying medical conditions, with a guidance and very careful tracking with your medical provider, and that is something that we love and we're passionate about, is making sure we're getting updated labs to track
Hmm.
and follow, and ones who might be, years past menopause, it is even more closely done, but it's still possible. Yes.
That's great because I feel like many women in my generation have gotten screwed basically because
Yeah.
the Women's Health Initiative that
Mhm.
came out. And so I think, but like I said, we're not standing by and letting it happen to us anymore. We're we're
Yeah, I'm all for that.
we're taking charge of our health, and it's not about aging like younger or aging backwards. I feel like it's aging, like you said, the best you can be, healthy, vibrant, able to do things, able to get up and down off the floor, able to put a heavy suitcase in the overhead,
Yeah.
um, just able to do functional life and not be in a wheelchair or walker or end up frail and bent over. I mean, that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to stay upright the
That's
rest of
what
my
I
life.
say. I'm trying to shave off any time that I might need assisted living. And that is
Mm,
a huge goal for me. I
well,
don't do well with others taking care of me anyway.
right. So I hope this conversation, if you're watching this helped you in some way, just broaden your perspective about peptides. We hope you follow us for more about aging smarter and aging well and better. And Suzanne, is there anything else you would like to add before we close out?
I would love anyone who is on the fence. You can schedule with Joy just to meet for a
Yeah.
free consultation before labs, just to
Hmm.
ask maybe if there is some specific questions that you didn't get to get
Yeah.
clarification on, especially if
Hmm.
it's very individualized. schedule a free consultation with someone from Joy so you can get a little bit more of those answers specifically to you and give you either peace of mind on what is the best direction to go in for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll just follow that up with saying if you want more details, or you get a big discount too if you put more in the comments on our replay, and you'll get that information. And it's good to explore. It's better to test, not guess, as you said earlier. I think that's really important. And I think whatever we can do to help ourselves to feel better, age better, why not? And
Absolutely.
it's not going to hurt you. That's the problem. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. So that's a good thing to remember. So thank you so much, Suzanne. I really appreciate this. You can follow Suzanne at Elevated Health. I will tag her on this. And also Joy Women's Wellness. You can follow them. You can follow me, and just reach out to any of us to ask questions. We're happy to do that. And we hope you have a wonderful and healthy rest of your day. And we'll see you later.
Thank you so much, Kim.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.